Hi, this is Dave Nabity from Nabity Business Advisors. Today's segment you're not going to want to miss. And I'm telling you, Mom, Dad, if you own a business, you've got to watch this video. I work with a lot of family-run companies, and I am running into an epidemic. I see it all the time. I'm running into it more often than I ever used to. And it's a situation where mom and dad have not properly planned for the transition of their business to the children. And what we're seeing happening is a lot of family conflict, a lot of problems between the siblings that are left behind because mom and dad didn't get the work they needed to get done on the front end before they decided to pass on and move on to the next life. Now, it's a big deal because when you think about all the time and effort that you've put into building and starting this company, why would you want to not set it up properly so that when you're gone, it blows up? And let me just give you an example of some of the things that we're seeing. What we're seeing is mom and dad start this business, they run it for 30, 40 years. Maybe grandpa started and the parents inherited it. But let's just assume it's the first generation. You got mom and dad that run a successful company, and it's worth a bag of money. It's worth a lot of money. And maybe there's 4 kids involved. So we're going to say the children then are generation 2. And you've got 2 boys and 2 girls. But really, only one of them is working in the business. The other 3 are doing other things. Maybe one's a doctor, maybe one's a lawyer, maybe one's in manufacturing, maybe they're doing something different, maybe a school teacher. They're not involved in the business. But that business is worth a bag of money. And you've got young people in here that have been running and operating the company that are part of the family that really should probably run and operate and control the business after mom and dad are gone. But guess what? They're too young. They're not ready yet. And what we're seeing, and we're seeing often enough now that I wanted to do this video, is problems with this generation number 1. If mom and dad are gone and the plans haven't been set up properly and that business is worth a lot of money, guess what? All 4 of the kids see that business being worth some big bucks and they want their piece. What do you do if this child says, sell the doggone thing? I don't care about my brother. I don't care what's going on with the business. Let's just sell it. Let's just get rid of it. Forget it. But you've got children that are in the business that are running and operating it and they want to hang on to it. And you can end up having a major conflict occur between the siblings because some want money and some want to continue to grow the business. The other issue that you've got is the spouses of each of these kids. What we can see often happens too is you can have a spouse here that sees the money that the business is worth and that spouse pushes and pushes, sell it, get rid of it, dump it, liquidate it, whatever, let's get our fair share. They might not care about the sibling that's in there that's running and operating the business. What do you do if this child that's running the business is married to a spouse that's committed to supporting the family business, and guess what? You've got grandkids in here now, and these grandkids could be generation 3 to carry on the family legacy, yet you've got people up here raising Cain because they want money. It's a real problem. And I got to tell you, mom and dad, if you don't plan ahead and get this all worked out, get the family strategic plan put in place before you pass on, you will leave a mess. Especially if you've got key management people here in the business. Now, I drew these management people like they were blockheads, but they're not blockheads, and I just wanted to differentiate the difference between the two. But in most companies, there's an executive team that's key to keeping in the business. And this executive team might not ever own stock. They may never become a stockholder in the company, but it's really important to keep them around to give the kids time to develop and maybe even the grandkids time to develop. And so my point here is this. It's very, very important that you work out the strategic plan that says, look, when we die, we want our stock to go maybe into a trust. We maybe want to set up a plan where we can structure a buy-sell agreement with the one child that's in the business, and that one child then makes payments to the other children so they get their fair share and they feel like it's okay. You may need to put some executive plans in place to keep the management team around. Wouldn't maybe be stock, because the stock's going to stay in the family, but you'd put together a deferred compensation plan or a stock appreciation right or a phantom stock plan or something to keep the executive team around to help run and operate the company until the family team is ready to take over. But you can do things like you can set up buy-sell agreements where if you transfer all your stock into a revocable trust or a family trust, you can set up a buy-sell agreement where the children that are running and operating the company end up buying the shares out from the survivors so everybody feels like they're getting taken care of and they're protected. Mom and dad can also get insurance to where the son that's in the business running and operating the business, he can insure mom and dad, and upon their death use the insurance proceeds to buy out the sisters and the brothers that aren't involved in the business. All of this stuff can get worked out, and you can even develop the plan in such a way that we can build a presentation and get everybody together and say, kids, here's the family business, here's what it's worth, here's the plan that mom and dad have in place, and at the end of the day, we've put this plan in place, we put that plan in place so that everybody's going to be treated fair and everybody knows that they're loved and cared for by mom and dad. The most important thing here is you want to make sure that once you're gone, your children still want to stay a family, they still love each other, they still want to be together in Thanksgiving and Christmas and birthdays and do holidays together. It's important to keep the family together. And the best way to do that is have these plans developed and worked out ahead of time. If you put it off and a catastrophe occurs, you can end up wrecking everything that you've built with your family. It's just not worth it. Give me a call. I'm Dave Nabity. I specialize in working with family businesses to help them work through these things, and I'll be happy to take some time to get to know you and your family and see if I can't help you too. Thanks so much for watching this, and feel free to check out my website, nabity.com, and check out any of the other videos that we put together. Thanks.